welcome to episode 25.
25!
MasterMinds. So today we have Nick from Spectre Vox.
Yep, and we have Glenn, the production director.
Yes, so this is a very special episode that we're prepared for you guys because this episode was pre-recorded. If you have any questions as you're watching the show, feel free to type it into the chat box and we'll answer them accordingly via the chat, just like our regular Facebook live stream. We'll be also announcing the winner of the Art Heist from Trap Escape Room Game series by the fantastic Factory. So you would not want to miss that. We'll also be inserting the secret phrase during our interview when anyone will, once they watch this.
They're going to get a really cool prize, whoever the lucky winner is for this one.
I think it's like a beautiful collectible item, actually. A fancy laser cut clipboard.
Very nice.
Well, can we enter in for this one too? I like a fancy clipboard
I know,
too.
Right? Fancy clipboard, oh my god. Which they were going to give away when they hit the Kickstarter at 200K, which they've already reached that stretch goal by now. And this is recorded on November 9, so they're moving towards their 250K mark at this point. So we don't know what's going to happen in November 14.
Yeah, I mean,
it should be another stretch mark.
We may, I think there's a $/pound translation thing there. It's under our 200,000.
No, but this is from the future, Glenn.
From the future, maybe.
Maybe the future, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is a future episode, so who knows?
I'm already predicting the future.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. That's cool.
Yes, but so then you'll actually be able to get this before anyone else. So definitely stay tuned for that. So the reason why we're doing this is because we want to give you exclusive tour of the workshop that's making this game right now, and this is the only way we're able to make it work with the time slot. So without further ado, introduce our special guest of the day, Nick.
All right, so Nick, he is the game director of Spectre Vox from 2014 to 2018. He was the creative director of Time Run, a live gaming company based in London, voted in 2018 as the 5th best escape room company in the whole entire world. At Time Run, Nick wrote and led the design of 2 award-winning games, The Lance of Longinus, okay, and The Celestial Chain, which we have not had the fortune of playing.
And you never can. We tore them down.
I made it and he tore it.
Okay, Glenn, give it and he take it away.
And in early 2019, he designed and launched Sherlock, The Game Is Now, which he co-wrote with Steve Moffat and Mark Gatiss. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these names right. I'm not
completely messed it up, but that's okay. Don't worry.
That's what I'm here for. Which was obviously based on the eponymous BBC TV show.
Which you don't know about either.
No, I know about the Benedict Cumberbatch one. So
yeah, he's quite famous. So I would hope you know about him.
I know about him.
All right. So once again, during the interview, feel free to type in the chat box any questions or comments you have for him. He'll be able to type back with a reply. Since we haven't gotten to play the actual games ourselves, the below questions are going to come mainly from an introduction perspective from Nick.
Right.
So Nick, let's start with your resume first because it's quite impressive. I'm sure you making that 5th best escape room company in the world and earning all of those awards gave you some background for designing this game. So how did this all start? And were you always in the game design field?
I wasn't always in the game design field. For a long time, me and several other people who, from the previous projects I worked in, produced lots of incredibly unsuccessful immersive theatre projects. So that were interesting conceptually, but kind of really didn't work out. And it was only in 2014 when we started designing Time Run. Actually, when was it 2014? It was from late 2014, wasn't it? Late 2014.
Yeah, it was summer of 2014.
And summer 2014, that's when we started going. In terms of kind of why this product and why we kind of came to this product is that I think for a long time we discussed doing something for the home.
Yeah.
And we'd had no idea what we wanted to do. And then suddenly COVID came and we're like, wow, actually for the first time we have the idea. And you were like, well, I've got this workshop full of amazing equipment, all this amazing stuff.
Dusty in here today.
Dusty in here, and full of allergies, evidently. And how can we best do it? So I think it was kind of like the idea of kind of having a full set was something kind of really that then came up with, because that was something that really no one else can do in terms of the equipment you have. And so that's kind of really where it started. It was like, how do we utilize all these advantages we have to do something that no one else can really do in a home environment? Because a lot of home escape room games, there's nothing wrong with them. They're all kind of like, a lot of them are kind of quite paper-based, quite lo-fi, and there's real delights, and there's some real classics to the genre, like Rita Orlov's The Emerald Flame is fantastic, obviously. And what was the first Rita Orlov game? Which name escaped me? Forget that. But there is, and
Lord, Emerald Flame.
And so there are lots of things out there which are already kind of classics of the genre, but it was what you didn't want to come in is do something that everyone else was doing. So we came and said, how can we do something different? How can we change it up? How can we do something really that no one else is doing with the home escape room genre? And I think, obviously, Glenn's company is a set and scenery. You make a lot of. That's pretty much what you do, right?
Yeah. Prop scenery. We built a lot of escape rooms. We come from a theatre background and building big theatre productions, and but we kind of in the same time that we started working with Nick on Time Run is kind of when we moved away from that and went more into immersive events. We got involved with a really successful Crazy Golf. Sorry, I've got so much dust in my nose. Crazy Golf course.
The interview.
I'll get rid of it. Crazy Golf course in London called Swingers, and that was right at the beginning of Time Run, and it was a really exciting project. And I think at that point we realised how big the immersive market was going to be and how much fun it was going to be. That was kind of the start of it in London. There were lots of little places popping up, and then fortunately met Nick and some other guys from Time Run that we got together, and we were like, let's do something big, full immersive world. And we were like, that's just art. That's the sort of stuff we love doing.
And I think that really helped with what Time Run became, because a lot of people at the time who were building escape rooms, they came from like tech backgrounds. They were like, how do I make this world look nice? And you came from I know how to make
scenery background.
And so it was like your scenery and knowledge of mechanisms, which you accidentally be honing years of building stuff. And that's kind of what, again, we were trying to do with this. Again, mechanically, there's not really, it doesn't have mechanisms in the same way, partly because we're quite, want to make something that doesn't get destroyed in transit. Right. But it does have that kind of element with the lighting and stuff that makes it feel like a show. That kind of element of liveness, that flickering lighting, that excitement you get. Obviously we can't demonstrate today because this is the one we've de-rigged with lights. This is a prototype, so it's not the full thing in a kind of way. But we really want that experience. You can turn off the hat lights and just really kind of exist in your own world, which is the great thing about going to a show or going to an amazing escape room.
Yeah, and it's about creating atmosphere. You know, and there's so much detail and depth in the model that we've made, and and with the added extra of the lights, it's I think putting the right environment and the right lighting and the right frame of mind, you can really be superly immersed in this. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be hard to lose yourself, especially when I've heard a lot of the recordings and how the game's going to be presented to you. It's pretty exciting, and I'm our biggest critic, right? I don't play games, and I just build and design games, right? And I'm really looking forward to this.
Are excited.
That's always a good seal of approval for us.
Glen's the biggest escape room sets in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give you a closer look. We're going to actually do a little bit of a tour later on in this video.
But from like the specialty perspective, because that's my next question, but you guys kind of gave a little bit intro already from this, but it's a 3D model haunted house that has light, you have the sound, and you have the immersive storytelling aspect of it, right? So how does this all work?
So obviously the model is... So in many ways,
that's the actual size, by the way.
This is the actual size. Yeah,
that's the skin. Yeah,
you can see by our arms; it's quite big.
You guys got long arms.
Well, I'm 6'3", so So the model is pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of your world map, and kind of the bit where you discover the things that you have to interrogate as you go along. And the audio is powered by software called Octopus, which is actually developed by the guys that have RoomScape artists, David Spira, and a guy called Chris Holland. And it's a really good piece of basically it's an audio kind of led interactive escape room software system. So what you're able to do is you talk to the characters, you interact with things, and that's the kind of way that you wind your way through the experience. So the soundscape changes, you investigate more things, you get access to more rooms. So effectively that's like your audio user interface, and this is kind of your game map. And that's the kind of the way it works. And the lighting is lights. I mean, it's just
Is it like a light switch? Like, is there a remote? How does it work?
Well, it's a simple circuit, and you'll connect it all together and plug it in.
So once everything's plugged in, it will it will self-light up basically once you complete getting everything in place. And it will create the circuit. So everything's hidden away, all the wires are hidden away, all the connections are hidden away. Once you complete everything, the world will.
I'm assuming there's like an on and off switch to it, or is it just constantly on? And then you just.
I mean, you can just. It comes with an adapter for a plug, so So you would power it essentially, but you need to have all the pieces all the walls in place to create the circuit, which is the magic. And then the world will light up.
So basically, you could be in there like, why aren't the lights on in here? There's something wrong.
And it's amazing that much as we can do a lot of magic, it still requires an active power source. And you could use that from a phone charger or from a laptop or anything. I think, was it 5 volts?
Yeah, we've there's some reasons behind that. We were exploring different ways, and we could be really clever and use batteries and different ways. But we're trying to think of it from a more of an environmental perspective as well. Is that everyone has a 5 volt charger at home now, a plug through your phone, and it feels a bit clumsy and a bit silly to just send out a battery that would need to be replaced, or a really high power battery that's inside it. That just great, it would add to an experience, but essentially it goes into a landfill, and everyone has a 5 volt power plug at home.
Do something with charged by like natural sunlight or
a solar panel.
The sun doesn't come out that much in the UK, right? So we have to base this on the environment.
Or windmills, wind power.
Yeah, maybe.
But better if it was sort of hydroelectric or rain powered.
Yeah.
That is true.
Actually, I do have another question. Could the house be generated from like a backup charger or a juice?
It can. It can be from any of them things. Anything that gives either a 5 volt or a 12 volt output. So from a juice or anything like that can power it. It's fine. And it's very low voltage. Like off a battery, it would run for hours and hours and hours. But I think that we've settled on, people have USB plugs. It's the best way to. It's the most eco-friendly way to do it. It's the most adaptable. Like you say, you could put the juice pack underneath the box. You could hide it away and have in any way you want to do it. I suppose that I don't know too much about Amazon Alexas, but what do they run off? They're probably. I'd probably just step down there. Probably 12 volts. You could probably run it all off a juice pack and go in your shed at the end of your garden and have a full immersive horror experience. Maybe.
They can run off batteries as well, but I think probably makes most sense to run the plug.
Yeah.
Oh, since it's produced in the UK, like if you're shipping elsewhere internationally, does the plug becomes an issue? Like, do they need a converter?
No, because it's all low voltage. Because you're 110, we're 240. That's why we do it all low voltage, because then it doesn't matter where it goes in the world. The plug is always the same. It would just be powered by a USB.
You just need the head.
That's it. You just need the plug. Off your phones, you have to. Usually the cable comes out. You just need that. You need the plug.
Is it USB-C? I'm just curious.
We'll just use normal USB for now. I think most people have.
Yeah.
What I feel that most people have a USB plug.
Right.
People have a drawer full of them. Just like or more.
Watch the chats come in. Like, what's a USB? This is when you're like,
iPhone charger, guys.
Maybe solar option or wind powered might be.
Look, I implore you to look at our margins, and I will say no. Okay.
Not on this project, maybe not.
Not on this project. If we build in 4 times the margin, maybe we can do solar or wind power. But
you could pedal on a bike. You could pedal next to it.
Manually generate this for you.
Yeah, it could be.
So, quick question on the installation part of it for people, the users at home. How is this like an IKEA kind of manual that you're sending us, like for people who just do not know?
No, you bought the toilet. I should have.
Yeah. So I'll just
Have a toilet.
I'll grab the mirror.
So
Can you see that one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna zoom.
So if you look at that, most of the pieces
They'll become pre-assembled. The furniture.
Okay.
Sorry, I need to know my left and right.
With the
Is that a
vanity.
Yeah, vanity mirror.
Yeah, vanity mirror. Yeah. So the most of the pieces will become pre-assembled. I'll show you the toilet as well.
yeah, that's the toilet.
Yeah, you gotta have the toilet in there.
Exactly. Otherwise, how do you attach?
So we're getting quite a lot of glare off this light in front of us. I'll bring some other stuff out as we're talking. But
Yeah. No, I mean, like once we get you over there, you probably can also use.
Yeah,
the
you can
phone
do a
to-
little pan for us.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff, the way that it's, we've got really great designers here, and they've designed stuff in a really nice way that's really easy for us to assemble stuff. Once it's together, it won't come apart. It requires no glue. It's just done with the tolerances on how everything slots together. It just clicks together, which is really nice. And then it will become flat packed. But on the floor, what we've got is there's a really nice printed canvas that's part of your playing surface, which has the markings of the different props in the different rooms. So we actually believe that most people will be able to put this together without following an instruction manual, because they should be able to follow the map. Everything clicks in certain places. It has little tabs where it joins the ground. So my personal opinion is that will be the fun part. You're playing your escape room people. Sorry, yes, the first fun part, right? These will be the fun bit. Then the next
This
bit.
is the warmer. This is the warm up for the game.
Yeah, this is the first fun bit, right? But
This is your pre-game.
yeah. But I don't want people to be worried about the assembly side of it, because your escape room enthusiasts, part of the thing is doing a puzzle. So it would be strange if it was just a pre-delivered thing. But part of it is you get to know the pieces, you'll get to know the house, you'll get to sort of immerse yourself in it, and then you'll start the journey from outside and work your way through. And I think that will be. You get to feel the props, you get to see them, and I think that's going to be quite exciting when you've got them in your hand and then you place them out.
I love to play with the toilet and the vanity.
Yeah. Have a look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. See how you look in.
I think this is the one time a guy could get excited about a dollhouse. Like he's like, oh yeah, I get to play with this furniture, move this thing around, and like.
I played with a lot of dolls before I had the game.
I think that's where this came from.
Yeah.
So I mean, we haven't played anything 3D besides like the Curtain House made by the Blue Matter Games, but we're hooked on the 3D idea once we tried that game. And I know our past guest Hatch Escapes, who created Mother Franklin, will have a 3D castle in their Kickstarter, but this one is like on a whole other level in terms of lights and sounds and elements. And then you told us the inspiration behind the game was mainly due to COVID, or was there another inspiration that you just wanted to make something?
We really kind of. I mean, actually, like we were looking at some domains and some other things. So it's obviously been like a year today since we started discussing all this. So obviously, pre-COVID, but it was more the thing about the COVID. It kind of really brought into focus what we thought people were missing from the home experience, because live experience is missing. So what they're missing is that kind of real sense of immersion. So what we're really challenging ourselves to do is think about like how can we create the most immersive experience possible. And it wasn't like a response to COVID, but it's impossible not to be informed by what's happening right now, and to kind of work out what now needs. But also, it's an inspiration to try and create a new type of at-home product. And because there's no point in doing something, it's not a bit of a risk. It's something different. It's not something exciting. It's not exciting for us. Not exciting for players. Not exciting for Kickstarter backers.
Yeah. I was thinking like when one day he's sleeping and he's like, I need to get going to the house.
Actually, we had a whole.
we were, yeah.
No, I know what you're about to say.
I'm not say anything. The haunted.
This is actually our second idea.
Yeah, this isn't the first.
This is the first.
We have a
Is the first one still like lingering?
Did it happen?
We did it. We've the first one's done.
100%.
But we like to put pressure on ourselves. So we were like, we've done that one. Let's do another one first.
Yes. So it was more like sometimes like and we were like, actually, the second one's a great follow-up product. It's a second product, not a first product. So yeah, sometimes you realise, don't launch everything that you make. Work out when it's the right time for it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's so true.
Yeah. And I know you're currently at the workshop right now, obviously, and I'm sure our audience is feeling as eager as we are. But would you care to show us around? I mean, we'd love to see how this project is being produced.
I think this is your workshop, Glenn.
Yeah.
So this is your time to do the tour.
Yeah, Glenn, let's get a little
shine.
It's probably going to be quite disappointing because it's a really massive workshop. Take you around and go, so we do all this here, and naturally this is where most of this game is being made. But would you want me to show you around, to take you on a quick
in the tour and then come back to the house?
We want to live vicariously through someone that's actually there to see everything.
Cool, all right, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Yes.
Hey, Glenn.
This
Wow.
Hi, making mess.
Yeah, we can do it.
So this is upstairs. If we look around, so this is our workshop. We usually build obviously live games, big scenery in here. So this is a sort of a bit of an unusual project for us. So usually up here we'll have full escape rooms built up here, which we'll test and build in the workshop. Up on this mezzanine.
It's heading to my phone.
So we've got. So this is where we put everything together and build up here. Mind the mess. And then up on this other mezzanine again, we'll set up rooms. So the one thing that we have we're really lucky is that, and how we usually work in our processes is we'll build the full experiences here where we'll test everything, trial everything, and get everything working, put public through our games before we'll install them on sites.
Wow, this looks like a whole entire warehouse.
Yeah, this is upstairs, and then we've got downstairs as well. But we'll take you for a quick tour past some of the carpentry workshop downstairs. This is Sam's bottom.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have to blur that one.
Here's a cannon that we built for a game that we're building at the moment for a Peter Pan game that Nick's going to show you.
You're going to help me. I can't see the camera.
I know, I realised that. But you sort of get an idea of the scale of the workshop and what we do here. We've got over here.
What is that?
I'll take you through to the quieter part of the workshop.
Wow, and he's still going.
Hey Nick, this looks like the beginning of a horror film.
Yeah, some days it feels like that.
We're following the guy into something.
Come on in, so I have that feeling when I come in. So this side here is where a city department is set up. And a lot of model making and stuff happens. So over here, one part is a prototype laser cutter. So this is the machine where we've been making a lot of the Spectre Vox haunted house on here, and actually where Ellen has been working. We can probably show you over here.
Oh, wow.
These are all sort of the prototype pieces and bits that we've got boxes and boxes of this stuff. But you can see that this is all the
a grandfather clock or something.
Which?
Yeah, there is a grandfather clock. There. Your finger pointing right at it.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So
all of these are unpainted things.
Yeah. So this is what Eleanor would do with just getting the shapes and the sizes right and the way that everything slots together. We'll work out all our tolerances.
And you can see over there actually a bit of the haunted house.
Yeah, this was one of is one of the prototype ones. Actually, this would be quite good to show you actually if it comes around and we can explain a bit more about how it's got together. So, as I was sort of explaining earlier, what with the walls, if you can see on the bottom, they have like a tab on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so everything, and then there's a joining piece of wall here, you see these holes? So you would slot that together. So trying to do that in a very strange way. So they would slot together like that, drop down on it.
Ground area, is that exactly how wide it is? Or
This is just some of it.
I believe this is not far off. So if you lift up, Nick, I believe this prototype was probably about right. So yeah, so you'll get a scale of the inside of the house there. And then obviously on the house upstairs, we've got the trees and the grass sections out the front here.
yeah.
And then there's some back section. There's a what would you call it? There's like a garden room, like
A backyard patio.
I don't know if we ever show. Have we given too much away? Should we just show quick glimpses? This is one of the rooms on the outside.
Not with the piano in.
Not with a piano in, or this sign.
Or this piece saying Lego.
Oh, yeah, let's not. But you get an idea. These are some of the extras that go around the house. Some other rooms that you get to explore. Yeah, so I hope that gives you a good idea of the sort of scale of it. And then, so like really to sort of talk about the processes as well, that you might be able to see. So how we go about things is that we pre-paint sections of the boards on both sides to get these really nice textures on everything, and then we laser cut afterwards. So you get these, and then we can touch in little areas afterwards with the scenic artists, and they're just it's really hard to sort of show in the video, but there's real depth to it. They're really beautiful. They're really beautiful pieces. Sort of really happy with how they're turning out, and I think that we've managed to come up with a really good process that we can build something that's really high quality, but be able to get it out to sort of a medium to mass market, which, rather than giving up that quality that you might have to do if you sort of, passing this out to a factory somewhere that's going to go, well, actually, in order to do this, we have to print everything on cardboard, and it needs to be punched, and and you lose that quality. Everything's made of wood and it's painted, and I think that's a big part of what people will love about this.
Right. I have a question. How do you scale it? Like, for example, you have a piano, and then you have a bed, and like everything it's built to scale. How do you do that? It's
not everything. It's not like precise.
No,
scale, but
it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's a kind of it's the same way that we work in. Funnily enough, this really suits what we do anyway, because we work in a scale of 1 to 25 in this industry. So actually, when we draw something, you draw on the screen in a scale of 1 to 25, which is pretty much exactly this size. So you just draw it to normal scale, and this is how big a person is, this is how big a piano is, this is how big the cupboard is, and then we've set it to the scale. I think this is probably like scale 1 to 20 or something like that, make it a little bit bigger.
Right.
But it's painstaking, but that's what the designers like doing, and they've gone through every item and made sure that it's it's the right size and the right feel.
So like I'm seeing these props and different areas in the rooms and whatnot, but for like the puzzle lovers out there, where are how are you maneuvering these puzzles? Like, are they painted on the furniture, or you're?
It's just.
This is a Nick question.
Should we go back? Should we go back, or should we stay here? Okay.
Actually, are you close to the laser cutter where you can show us?
You know what? Let's go into. Should we talk?
I'll
get Eleanor to set some stuff.
I'll talk about this now, and you go. You get the laser cutter stuff.
Okay.
The puzzles kind of like there'll be hidden elements within the actual things themselves, little details, numbers, letters, all these usual things that you might find within the escape room environment. But like also it'd be a question of what you discover. For example, let's say on the system you say you see a desk and like there are 2 drawers. You like open the bottom drawer. You say to the system, you might encounter some more information that might give you more context to what you do. Or you see a painting of a gladiator, for example, is a puzzle that I've used as an example in the Kickstarter comments. And the painting has 2 arms pointing 1 different direction. See a grandfather clock. You know, see on the model a detail. Tell the system what to do with that detail. And gain access on the system to a new area where you can explore the model. So the 2 together work in tandem. So it's almost like, you know, the 2 kind of interconnect and interlink. So it's more like they're kind of part of the same system, but on its own, a lot of the puzzles will probably not really make particular sense without the context. You know, without the context of the audio and the story and the narrative and the through line. For example, like, you know, on the front door, there's like a wolf, a unicorn, a lion, and it's about what you do with them within the environment, and like repeated motifs and what you discover about them as you go through. So it's also a question of making connections between the story and what occurs as well. But I mean, like the puzzles are an important part of the experience because they're gateway content and because they push your through line through. But I mean, if you want a pure puzzle game, go and get a Sudoku book. You know, this is like a narrative-led experience. It's about the story and the atmosphere and the incredible voice acting from James and Danny, who are brilliant. Sorry about that notification sound, very annoying.
So Nick, is there a hint system? And if there is it built through the audio program that you have?
Yeah, I mean, or the way that basically all content, all extra content you'll get will be through the audio. So yeah, I mean, the truth is it should be so intuitive that you shouldn't really need hints, because I think ultimately, I think there are 2 types of, like, roughly speaking, 2 types of games where you need hints, where the hints should be an essential part of the experience and the hints should add to it, or where you don't need hints because the flow should be so good that you don't really need them. We're aiming to have as few hints as possible because we want it to be quite, you know, like you're all around the table. You want to feel like an adventure game where you're constantly moving forward. You know, you're constantly moving. So this thing is like, we say 3 hours of content for the kind of core game, but the answer is it's probably a lot longer than that. We're just really super conservative about that, because like some of the test games that we played using the same system have been like 100th of the content are taking like 15 minutes, and we're like, 100 times 50, that's an awful, that's a long time. So we're still at a process of working out exactly how long that content is, but I think people will be pleasantly surprised at how much there is to do in experience. But the story is really good. The story is an essential part of the whole experience, which I think people, we haven't really sold it on yet so far, because, you know, when you market something, you've got to choose what makes most sense visually, because the internet's a visual medium. And of course, we've got a massive house, so
you got the collaboration of both. You have awesome design, and then you also have the storytelling. I also want to apologize and retract my statement before. It's not a dollhouse; it's more of a haunted house.
We call it a dollhouse. Don't worry. Like we call it a dollhouse. Don't worry. It's an important frame of reference. Like Doll's House is like, but Doll's Houses are about kind of play and fantasy and adventure and like all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, there's a reason why kids go back to these settings, the sandboxes over and over again. It's because they're a great way for people to have that escapism, you know, in their bedroom when they're a kid. And that's the kind of thing we want to have, but for adults. So we're not offended by Doll's House. Don't worry. No. Apart from Glenn, that's why Glenn left. He was so angry.
Always.
Yeah, Glenn's always angry. He's like a very nice Hulk. That's why he's wearing a kind of light pattern green.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna name drop. So we've been watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, and this huge, massive dollhouse in that show. And when we see yours, it's like, wow, we can't imagine how yours is gonna look, because they're both like massive. So I'm trying.
But there's a lot of creepy dolls in that one.
Yeah, that one is just full of creepy dolls. But
yeah, there's 0 dolls. Like, unless you want to bring them. I want to bring a creepy doll. That's your prerogative. It's your house. You can do that with it.
Make it yours.
Yeah, bring your own guests into your house.
Yes, be your guest. Miss Puppy from the Beast.
Are we ready for the laser cutting?
Yeah, let's check that out.
Let me just see how Ellen this.
Okay. So I mean, while we're talking about the characters, how many are in the story?
I would say there are 5. 2 minutes, guys. There are 5 key characters. So Spectre, Vox, Gaius, Jeremiah, and Zacharina.
So the latter three are all part of the same family over different generations, and obviously Spectre and Vox are particular main characters of this particular world. So pretty self-explanatory who they are. Their names are on the tin. So there are 5 key characters. Of course, there are other like smaller, minor characters within it, but there are 5. I would say 5 characters whose arc it's focused on for the core game, and there are other elements within the other chapters in the deluxe edition, which I don't really want to go into because I think because the way we're going to do it release-wise is we're going to start with so when we release the game, we'll release all the core game chapters for both editions, and then probably follow up like a little bit later with the extra 3 chapters, just because they kind of are. Also, part of the reason is we want to give them both time to kind of settle and make sure we can do the best job possible.
Right.
Also, like the second 3 chapters are definitely a follow-on from the first. So it's a bit nice to have a bit of a season break. Like digest it, see how we think, come back a few months later. You want to
do you have it all laid out from the whole entire chapter? Like, is it just 3 chapters, or there's more after that?
There are 6 chapters, and currently 2 definitely 2 pieces of downloadable extra chapters that we're going to release down the line. So in total 8 chapters. You get all 8 only in the deluxe edition. The core edition only gets 3. To be honest, I don't know why anyone would ever buy the core edition. There's like £30 difference between the 2. And the deluxe edition is like a million times better. Has like 6 hours more gameplay. Oh no, you do get the DLC and you do get the DLC and the core edition as well. It's only 3 hours more gameplay. But the core edition is just only 1% of our backers are back to the core edition. So I guess. Thing is like we discussed add-ons. Like we've done actually loads of different add-ons that we never even finished here. Like there's a Spectre Vox desk plate we made. People have their own names on them and stuff. But we kind of realised that like along the discussion the way that what people want is things that extend the gameplay or change the gameplay. So that's why the first one was like all art used with the gameplay. So our first one was, of course, like our first stretch goal was to add an extra experience to the deluxe edition. The next one was to kind of like make like some of the objects out of metal, which looks really much nicer. Kind of everything that would look metal is now metal, which is really nice. And the third one is like a clipboard, which you can use during the game.
Yeah, those are.
And the final one, which we revealed, also is about gameplay as well. So it's really nice being like, this is our first bit of Kickstarter. We're still learning how to do it as we go along as well. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like,
yeah. You're like, now I have to make stretch goals. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, like stretch goals are such a strange thing. Yeah, like because they're so unusual. Like we're used to selling. Are you ready?
Yes.
We used to selling tickets for live events, not making Kickstarters. So stretch goals were a whole new thing. But instead of a whole new thing, here is some. Segue.
Okay. We're gonna give you the platform again, Glenn.
The what? Sorry. Yes.
It's all you.
Okay, cool. So this is Eleanor, and Eleanor drew all the props. Worked with Leah on the design. She's incredibly camera shy. And she's hating all of this.
We wanted to put her in the Kickstarter, but she refused. Yeah, so we're gonna make her do it.
Don't worry, it's just gonna be on YouTube.
We do this all the time to her as well, and she hates it. So just but she's gonna show you this laser cutting, which you can do.
Okay.
And show you the sort of process that we do, and show you how they go together.
Are you gonna talk, Eleanor, or are you not gonna talk? Eleanor, go on, take it away.
Okay. So I thought I'd cut out the.
You can just look at me. Should we start looking at that?
We should start doing like all of the engraving and stuff first, and then so it's the grand piano.
Yeah, that's.
So how long does it take to make a grand piano?
Not too long, under a minute, which is pretty good.
Oh wow.
But, yeah.
Wait, can you do multiple at a time, or is it like, do you have to do one and then slide the piece of wood or something, or?
And then we can set it up to cut all the way across the sheet. So you could do like 100 at a time if you want to. So
yeah, that'll definitely help.
Is
speed up the process.
100 the same time as one, or they're taking one per minute?
Sorry.
So we're only doing one sequentially each time. Therefore, where's Glenn going?
Caught him. He's leaving.
Where's he going? He's off.
Coffee shop. Coffee break.
Ah.
Wow. Is it actually hot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In theory.
So you just pop that out, or?
Yes. Well, this has to brew, I think. Do you want it again? See?
That's right. So basically, we just don't worry. It was a bit of a rush job, and normally put the laser in a slightly stronger setting. But the way, as you can see, it just pops out. So that's the way it kind of works.
Oh wow.
So it's quite easy then for us to put together. Each game takes about Glenn, how long was it to laser cut a game? 1 hour 50 something?
Yeah, it's around about 2 hours.
Around about 2 hours.
And Nick, what kind of wood is that you have in there right now? Is that wood? That is wood, right?
That's just painted wood.
Okay.
So it's painted with
So I had a question from your previous thing that we discussed, because you said the whole gameplay was like 3 hours long. If a player wanted to like kind of pause and then play again after an hour, you know how sometimes just people don't just have.
Yeah. If you just stop the software that resumes exactly where you left off.
That's nice.
And it's divided into chapters, and we suggest you take it chapter by chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
We would much rather you take it and enjoy it over subsequent evenings. There's no time limit, there's no time frame, there's no ticking clock. It's just about understanding and enjoying and appreciating.
Right.
We don't want it to be something like. I know people really enjoy setting records and things like that. I find that personally a bit trite. It's an experience. You're paying the money. You're not in that set ever again. Experience every moment, enjoy it, understand it, revisit things if you don't understand them. You know, gonna get one shot to enjoy the experiences. Why rush them? So it's really about just taking time and appreciating and enjoying it more than anything else.
That's exactly how we feel. Like whenever we're in an escape room, it's like we try to absorb everything while we're in there. Also because we're writing reviews on it and we need to see everything. But at the same time, you're right. You're paying to be in that room to experience it.
Yeah.
What is the approximate time per chapter, would you say?
I would say approximately an hour currently, but I suspect it's probably longer.
Yeah.
But again, like
start right in the beginning, especially when you first start the first chapter.
Yeah, and that opening chapter, like it has quite a nice, like quite slow beginning. Because you start outside the house and you're getting to it, and you move sequentially from room to room. You go out of the house like at the midpoint of the whole game, and you come back in. And it really is about like the house's own, not quite literally. It's not like an evil house, but the house has its own personality that's really kind of got from the people that live there. And you're really trying to just understand what that is and how it all works together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm quite low on batteries, so I might go back to my charger upstairs if that's okay.
All right.
No, yeah, let's do that. And as Nick is walking back, we're going to, just reveal our secret phrase for anyone who likes to type that in to win the fancy clipboard.
Yeah.
Type in, I need a fancy clipboard.
I need a fancy clipboard. Enter that in for the raffle from from now until episode 27. And anywhere this is showing, which is on our IGTV, our YouTube channel, and Facebook.
Right, and we can put it here. You can definitely type that in afterwards as well.
Absolutely.
So Nick, just a quick question on the clipboards.
Do you have one available to show us?
Well, he's going to show us.
Yes, I'll get you one second.
Yeah. But I had a question about the clipboard in terms of the choice options. I know you had a few colors and you said it's random. So for the winner who wins a raffle, they're just going to have a choice any one sent to them, right?
Yeah, here's the clipboard. Spectre Vox. Let's get out. This is a like light brown one. There's a kind of maroon one here.
Pretty.
So yeah, they're lots of different colours actually. I think I'll put them over there. So the way we make them, obviously they're kind of laser cut. They've got a nice little clip for your notes.
Yeah.
So
they're really nice things. But the way we make them and the way they are kind of different colors is we use we're putting them kind of on the edges of the pieces of wood that we use for kind of cut out walls and stuff like that. So that's about the reason why it's kind of a bit of a see which one you get.
Yeah.
We're just working out quantities. And what we don't want to do is, if you promise one person a color, you've got to promise everyone a color.
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing. But they're all nice looking, and they're all kind of like roughly within that same like, you know, tonal range color wise.
Oh, I like that color. Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of like a
Washed ash.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice one.
That's so creative for you to come up with something like that, because it's a nice like outside of the house feature to have, and it complements it very well. That's all good.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think it was Eleanor's idea. Was it your idea?
I claim all the ideas, but it was definitely someone else's.
Len, you're just sitting there. Just take the credit.
Yeah, I will. But it might come back on me.
So I mean, like, you know, after we looked at the amazing workshop and the laser cutting and how much time it takes to make a game, almost 2 hours, to give you guys that 3-hour playtime or more than 3 hours playtime, we feel like the value is 6 hours.
6 for deluxe.
Well, because there's 6
right.
chapters.
Yeah. But I mean, the core play, the initial one that just gets sent out, that's the three hours, right?
Well, probably a
Ish
little
or
more.
more.
Yeah, probably a lot.
The value in it is amazing.
Amazing.
From the Kickstarter perspective, yeah. And for anyone who is watching at the premiere, and you only have a few more days left to join this Kickstarter event, which will end on November 19th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah.
So definitely go support them and get your copy. And I just wanted to, like, you know, rephrase on. I mean, we've probably covered a good amount of this stuff as we're walking around and try to look at everything. But we know that, you know, a project like this must have an awesome team to make it happen. So how many superhumans are we talking about altogether?
So once this hits full production, there'll probably be about 25 of us working on it flat out for a few months.
25.
It's a lot of people.
But in terms of the creative team so far, there's Leah, Eleanor, who else? Jordan.
Dean, Jordan.
She's Jordan too.
There's probably
Yeah.
Probably 10 of us so far have been working on this.
There must be someone else I forgot.
There will be.
There must be someone.
And it's going to come back on us.
Yeah.
Once again.
Exactly.
Putting them on the gold.
Probably about 10 people, plus or minus one in particular.
Right. Well, while we're talking about it, how did this partnership start? Like, I know you worked on previous projects. How did you guys meet? And how did it start?
Well, we met because we were building Time Run, designing Time Run. That was when we first met, right?
No, that's when me and you.
It's like who started?
In Victoria. I met Nick there the first time I met Nick was in a meeting about Time Run, but I've met. Do you know what? I don't know the answer.
6 years ago.
About 6 years ago.
And like you just like since Time Run, that was your first escape room. You just basically like kind of rode the escape room kind of crest, getting better and better and better, building bigger and bigger stuff. So we built both those Time Run games together. Then we built Sherlock. Then I went freelance and we did a couple of projects here and there. And we're always like, you know,
we've been coming up with things for a few years, and we've got a lot in the locker.
Yeah, there's
things that are going to come out.
There's a particularly great, particularly amazing one thing which we spent like a year, like last year on, which is we just didn't do, but we're going to do.
It's going to happen, and it's going to be great.
Is that another Kickstarter project, or is this?
It could be anything. It could be behind you right now. I'm not going to say. It's good.
You see how he's like trying to dig out stuff? He's like, me? Then perhaps I'll get
See,
some.
if we were playing Think a Drink, I'd have a better chance of trying to get something out of you guys. But very smart.
Yeah, but voice actors wise, how many do you have? Are they all doing just one part of voice, or is one voices?
We have a different voice actor for each part, so 5, and there'll probably be. We haven't kind of cast like smaller roles, but we have such a wide group of actors that we know and use that. But they're just not as essential because they're like, you know, a couple of lines here and there. As how we want to make sure for the kind of core people, we really spent a long time casting them, and so like it was a good month of kind of like, you know, just getting with like hundreds of different reels and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's really is as well, just like what made Time Ram so great, and the same with Sherlock, was that it was about the narrative. You know, that first and foremost, when people went to, especially to Time Run, it was in like the most horrible warehouse in the world from the outside, and then we built this like incredible secret door that had this big emblem. He'll say it.
Emblem.
On the front, and so it was really good because people would walk around the corner and be like, "Wow!" and then this thing would slide open, and from the moment you walked in there, you were led by actors the whole way round, and then you were put into your experience and led by this amazing character Babbage around the experience. And I think that's one thing that me and Nick have always wanted to do, is that we're really into the escape room stuff, but we're into the adventure and the immersive side of stuff, and we feel that that's as much a part of it as the puzzle element.
And the character stuff I think is absolutely true, because that's kind of a bit why with Spectre and Vox we wanted to forefront as character led, because so many escape rooms just aren't like, they're not about the characters, they're about the situation. And ultimately, the characters and there's a lot of complex backstory and kind of lore, which will seep out over the various kind of games in the world, and it's all kind of thought about and planned. And that's really why we wanted to make something which was character based, because it allows us to explore.
Yeah, because Spectre and Vox came along a lot before this haunted house. Nick already created the detective agency and the backstories and the characters. This just came afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Was it always a paranormal detective agency, or
Yeah, I think because like it's always about finding something which I think is a vehicle for storytelling. The thing about it is like, we're not going to touch on it too much now, but it's how ghosts operate in the world and what they represent within it. Because the supernatural is a tool to explore fun ideas, and you know, with this, ghosts are definitely like a vehicle for kind of complex storytelling, rather than necessarily a spooky adventure. It's not about the scares or anything like that. I mean, like, it's a doll's house, guys. It's in your house.
By the way, regarding Time Run, you guys realize you're adding salt to the wound, because we can't play it, and we have no. Actually, is there a chance that we could bring it back?
The next one that we're not going to tell you anything about, that me and Nick are planning, then you can come over and play that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Awesome. So what is the anticipation ship date for this, and are we still on target?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just gone into another national lockdown, which has made things a bit more complicated.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why we really we're starting manufacturing in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To get there, so we're really going all hard for March delivery.
Yeah. I think that there's always going to be. I reckon that there's always going to be challenges, but our industry the industry that I come from, not just the escape room industry, is about overcoming them challenges. So we've got different ways of getting through, logistic problems, and there's ways of upping production at certain points, lowering production at certain points. Like I always say, there's 24 hours in every day. Everyone thinks you only work 8 hours a day, but there's always 24 hours in every day, and there's always 7 days in a week. My staff don't like me saying that, but there is a possibility. I'm just hoping. I think that if I was to be honest, I think the biggest issue that will probably surround things missing delivery slots at the moment would be how the world's dealing with COVID at the moment, and logistics and shipping and stuff like that. But from a production side, we already exist. We've got all the machinery, we've got all the skills, we've got all the crew. We've already worked out how we're going to do it. We know how many we have to produce each week, the numbers we have to hit. So that side of it's fine. I couldn't stand here and go, something's not going to go wrong along the lines, but but that's my job. My job is to sort that out and to overcome
That
this
question
problem.
actually was to ask for Nick so he can have on video that you'll finish the project in March.
Yeah, but I'll hold him to it.
I can put a pressure on right now.
I mean, to be honest, I'm the thing that's more likely to slow down production than you by a long way. And like, that's we were just talking about this about an hour ago.
Oh,
I was just touching on a conversation that you think that's an idea about.
Yeah.
Too much to explain. It's a joke. Don't worry.
But for those who are thinking about backing, just rest assured that they have everything in house. They're not outsourcing to anywhere else.
No, we wouldn't. And I've learned that it. So really, how to my company Tandem. So this is mine and Nick's company, Spectre Vox, but my company Tandem is producing the game. We've spent years and years and years we've moved away from outsourcing. We don't like to rely on people to do certain elements of jobs, so we've created everything in-house. We've invested in all the machinery, we've invested in the skills. So we're actually in a very strong position, and not just a strong position in with this game, but just in other things that we do. We do everything in-house, which is just makes it takes the stress out of things. Believe me, it can be
absolutely eliminate the room for obstacles.
Yeah, especially in what's going on around the world at the moment. There's a lot of unknowns with. It's unfortunate. We've seen a lot of big companies disappear recently, and you're just like, wow, it's pretty.
So like you have a lot of pieces there that I would think that it's necessary for gameplay, but all of it. So from a player's perspective, let's say the grandfather clock was missing, like from the shipment. How would you fix that issue? Like,
we'd probably have a massive argument about whose fault it was for a bit.
And then you're gonna be.
I see you haven't come to a conclusion yet. You're pointing at each other.
I mean,
we are going to be very we're going to be very stringent on the checks that we do when we're sending this out. That but obviously something could happen. If it did, I believe that customer service would be really good, and we would send a replacement out immediately. We'd make sure that was fulfilled. But obviously, we're not trying to think about that. We're trying to think about how you catch that from not happening. But rest assured, if something was missing or something wasn't up to scratch, we'll do anything we can to make up for it. We're not, it's not in our nature to be another way inclined, really.
But going back to what you were saying before, like you're eliminating any possibility for stuff like that because it's really just all there. So yeah, that's it.
He's very excited about this game
because
he
excited.
doesn't usually ask this many questions. He's like, should I interview?
Yeah,
surprise.
And for the Instagram video, we have to chop it to under an hour. So it's going to be very hard for me to pick out pieces that
Yeah. So, countries-wise that you're shipping to initially, and do you have what are they, and do you have any plans to expand in the future?
So the shipping thing, we're constantly kind of basically, we start off with a limited shipping list, a country list, and we said if you want to ship to your place, ask us, and we'll get a quote, because we didn't want to overload and have every single country in the world because it's quite a heavy box. It requires individual query for each individual one. Yeah. So I think currently we ship to 10, 15 countries, and we're happy to expand to more of you.
I personally, I wouldn't. A lot of people understand with shipping. A lot of places just cost a lot of money to ship to from certain countries. So I think if people are interested in buying the game, we will ship it. We will ship anywhere. And if someone's from a country that's not listed, get in touch with us. We'll find out what the shipping is at the moment, but then we'll endeavour before it goes out to try and find a cheaper way of doing that. But what we want to do is just make sure that people aren't going to go, wow, it's $100 to ship to, I don't know, Fiji, or I've not looked at it, but you know what I mean, and be like, oh, I thought it'd be this. I think that. What we're going to say is the shipping cost for unusual destinations from the UK is that this is worst case scenario, and we're going to work a way to see if we can bring it under. But we'll ship to any. We want everyone to play this, and we'll ship everywhere. But unfortunately, the shipping's out of our hands. They're the greedy transport companies.
Look, if we could teleport it all over the world and have no cost for anyone. Believe it, we don't make money on shipping, guys.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not. We don't. We're just charging what we've been charged. It's sad.
Weight, by the way, in case there.
6 kilos.
Yeah, about 6 kilos. And I don't. And you're going to ask me what that is in pounds? I don't know.
About £14.
Is that what it is? 6 kilos.
Yeah, about 2.2.
14 pounds. He said that. I never said that.
Right? Yes.
But we will double check that.
Wait, Glenn, so you don't have a post office on site to send stuff out?
I'm thinking about investing in one. That's going to be the next thing that we do.
That's his Christmas like L shop.
I'm pretty sure Amazon's going to provide some way to build your own business of the courier.
By the way, guys, there's actually another workshop next door. This is
this is good. There's another one.
There's another one next door.
Oh wow.
We would love to get a tour once all this craziness ends. And,
Well, hopefully, you know, in the near future, we'll be able to show you around something very exciting in the workshop.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you said there was a lot of stuff that are, in the works other than the things you can't tell us.
Yeah.
But are there anything else you can tell us, or just exclusively on this video in terms of the deluxe pack? Or
she's trying to get stuff out.
One last time.
I don't think so. I don't think there's. I mean, to be honest, I'm always wary of doing like the video game industry thing where they promise things 1,000 years before they even exist, and then we cancel them. And what I want to do is talk about what's here and what's now.
Yeah.
We're shipping this amazing game. It's unlike anything else out there. It's great value for what it is. You won't get anything like it for the price that we're selling at. Believe us. We know our margins. I think it's too cheap. Glenn thinks it's too cheap. And believe us, everyone else who builds stuff thinks it's too cheap. And it is too cheap. So we will not sell it for this price again because we do not make much money.
Why did I only have $30 since the last time? After he's like, maybe.
Let's just say if Kickstarter could amend prices after you'd launch, there would have been a different conversation.
But it's great. It's going to be great.
It's amazing. It's an amazing product. It's amazing value. Like nothing else like that. We only have plans to do it on Kickstarter right now. We don't have any. We don't have like logistics facilities and like that. Just storing loads of them, building loads of them because it costs so much to make. So it's pretty much the only time you're going to get it. We're not doing like people keep on saying, "Can we do a retail pledge?" And we're like, "No, we're the retailer. We do it. We build." So
yeah, we've had some big offers.
Yeah,
and we've just been like, no, there's no point. This is a
premium
project for Kickstarter.
Yeah,
I think the demand is there. Like, I don't think you really need to have someone else.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's great because we've seen people who talk about the Kickstarter projects where they're saying like, hey, now they've been approached by these big people like I don't know, Target, Walmart, or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're supplying the project to them first before they accompany these Kickstarter who actually backed you
there
at the
to
beginning.
make it happen.
So I feel not the right way to do it. And I'm glad.
No, and I don't think we're in a position where we want to do that, and also we're not in a position where we need to do that. This is a project that we love and we're doing, but this isn't all of our eggs in one basket. This is something that we're doing, and we've got other jobs, and I'm building other things. So we don't need to go down that road of desperation almost and go, wow, we've done this thing, let's sell it off. And what we want to do is make sure that it's a premium product, it works really well, our fan base love it, and they're the first people to get this game, and then we just take it from there. We don't need to stretch ourselves more than
baby, so you don't gotta protect what you put into it. You don't want any other voices saying no, you can't. But here.
Just so you don't hold. If someone offers me $1 million right tomorrow, that's a different conversation. So if anyone that's got $1 million for
exactly,
it has to be exactly
no
$1 million, no more.
That's just exactly.
So I'm gonna see what type of reaction the both of you give me when I ask you this question, because like I'm a huge fan of like Clue. Like, are there like hidden passages in there somewhere, going from one room to another room? And...
sort of, but like I don't want to. There is that element. There is that element where you do, like, you don't necessarily explore the house in a linear fashion. Actually, there we go. That's all I'll say.
Now I really can't wait till March. What is it still March? I don't even
know. That's all you get. That's all you get. Okay. So since we're not gonna have a trivia segment on this sub, and we're keeping everything PG.
Yeah.
Well, except for that one part with the butt crack.
Yeah, the butt crack's getting blurred out. Unless he wants to be famous. That's up to him.
I don't know if he wants to be famous for that. But I mean, but you know, we'd love to invite Nick back and Glenn back once the game is complete one day, and we get to get a chance to play it. But you guys should definitely check out their Kickstarter to own one piece of this history in the making. Their Kickstarter ends on November 19th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so get your copy now. Thanks everyone for watching, and since
also secret phrase for the raffle for that fancy clipboard that he was showing earlier, or gonna show again. There you go.
2 different colors. Which will you get?
Perfect for that game. And all you need to do, as you see on the screen, is type "I need a fancy clipboard," and you will enter for free for the raffle.
Yes.
So make sure you get in there and visit Kickstarter and definitely back this project, because as you can see, it is amazing. Unlike
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. And thank you guys for this exclusive tour and speaking with us.
Wicked. It's been really nice. It's been great.
So thanks, guys.
Guys.
For me to choose, 2 hits left for me to use, 1 hit left for me to move. Time is running out, gotta figure something out. 3 hits left for me to choose, 2 hits left for me to use, 1 hit left for me to move. Time is running out, gotta figure something out.